Hello, welcome to the Elevate Your Wellbeing podcast. We are on episode 43, and I want to chat to you about taking wellness beyond the yoga mat. So, before we dive in, make sure if you're listening to this indoors that you've got a nice comfy seat, you've got some water. If you are listening to this with your coffee or a tea, do have some water. Make sure you're getting some nice sunshine or some daylight. Maybe you're listening to this in the car or you're listening to this out on a walk or a run, whatever you're doing. If you are able to, do join me with a journal and pen, because I will give you a journal prompt at the end. You might also be taking some notes. But as I mentioned on last week's episode, I want to chat a little bit more about my signature wellbeing coaching program. So I'm really excited that this has all come together. This is the Vibrant Wellbeing Method, a way for you to go from feeling fed up to feeling fabulous. And this really stems from what I'm basically calling my tagline, taking wellness beyond the yoga mat. Taking wellness beyond the yoga mat. Now, I bumped into someone as I'm recording this. I think I bumped into her maybe a week or two ago. She's a friend of my husband's, but she also has come to a few yoga classes. So I know she's someone who's been wanting to do that element of something holistic, something good for her well-being, something for just for her to be present and slow down. But why restrict it to the yoga mat? Now, there will be things, because I've seen it in my life, I've seen how it's had that ripple effect, doing something for yourself, even if it's just an hour a day or an hour in your whole week, it can really have that ripple effect. Obviously, the more you do, the more you're going to see the results sooner or quicker or faster, depending on what you have the availability or bandwidth to be able to dedicate to that practice. But I kept noticing a pattern. And she was asking me, like, we bumped into each other in the supermarket, not seen each other for a while. We're all there just sort of having a little chat. And she's like, what are you doing? Are you still teaching yoga? And I was like, yes, but I'm also coaching because I want people to experience more than just the yoga. And she was like, oh, what do you mean? And obviously, yoga is really in my heart. I still teach a little bit of yoga, but really going into coaching more because I believe there's so much more. Coaching can have such a big, broad aspect of taking that well-being to the next level. And that's really why I had that whole brand shift in my business as well. It wasn't just Yoga with Rachel, the name of the studio that I ran. You know, it's that elevate your well-being. It's all about optimizing and leveling up, taking it to that next step, which we'll be going into a little bit more on next week's episode. But taking it to that next step, I'm not here poo-pooing yoga at all in any way, because that was my stepping stone for getting into well-being and feeling really great. So you taking well-being or taking wellness beyond the yoga mat, for you, that might be taking it beyond going for a park run, taking it beyond your cold sea swimming, you know, that little moment in time, that little snapshot of what you're doing for your well-being. How can you take it beyond that? So that, and I mentioned this, I think it was last week, do you know the difference between reacting and responding? It's being able to be at a place where you can respond from a logical, calm state of mind rather than instantaneously reacting from an illogical or angry or frustrated or tired or moody space. So let me just rewind a bit. So like I was saying to this person I bumped into, like, I want to help people take well-being beyond the yoga mat. And the pattern I kept seeing over and over and over again. And in the moment I would joke, and even like when we moved online, it was like, oh, we've taken this element out. But I still saw an element of it, which was this frantic rush to get into class, roll out your mat, and suddenly, like, oh, I'm here. Now I can be present for me. This is for me. It was that chaotic madness, this whirlwind of rushing in. Oh, I'm always late. I'm always there. I'm always rushing. Get here, go here, go here, all doing all the things. And most of the time, I'd instantly see that ripple effect, because they would finish class, and especially teaching in the evening more so, people would be like, okay, that's it. That's the end of my day. I can slowly roll up my yoga mat. I could have a little conversation with the person next to me or with the teacher, move out of the studio, go find my car, get home. And I was like, perfect. We've come in, we've rushed, and I always would joke it was that ironic thing. We've rushed to yoga to slow down on our yoga mat. We've felt chaotic and frantic to suddenly get on a yoga mat and feel at ease and relaxed and calm and present. And the irony wasn't lost on me at all, but I didn't know at the time that that was, for me, that's what it feels like now, what I had to see to go, okay, how can I take that beyond that so people can feel calm as they come in and calm as they leave? And like I said, I did see the ripple effect for a lot of people instantaneously. They would feel quite slow. They didn't feel they had to rush. They were like, oh, actually, yeah, this is amazing. My nervous system has reset and I can just slow down and I can feel very logical. But there would be some people that as quickly as they came in and the class was done, they quickly rushed off to the next thing. And I'm going to tell you a little story about a time when I ran a yoga retreat. And this feels quite funny because I'm literally preparing to run this retreat again at this venue. So I absolutely adore running yoga retreats, but I've started looking at them more as a well-being retreat, a well-being holiday, a holistic holiday, because it's like, I want this to be something that you can take a little snippet of and have this in your day every single day. So yes, having the holiday, the time away for yourself is something that we sometimes need. We need that big break, that disconnect. Suddenly go, how can I bring more of this into being? But I want that to be that takeaway of, okay, this is what I can keep doing from here on out to feel great. And, you know, a retreat isn't an hour, like an hour's yoga class, that rush in, do an hour, and then rush out again. It could be a day. So you see sometimes that more slowing down. Again, some people rush in and they're a bit frantic. And sometimes they suddenly realize, okay, at the end of the day, and I've got to mentally prepare to get home for whatever is waiting for me, you know, husband, kids, dog, whatever. Because life can't survive without you, it can feel like. But this particular event was arriving Friday afternoon. We had Friday night, all day Saturday. We had Sunday morning. We didn't wrap up until lunchtime, and a lot of us were then wandering to the town, go for lunch. Or there were a couple of times where this particular event, I always take my mum with me, so that's my treat for her, that she comes along and gets to enjoy the weekend as well. And sometimes we would decide, okay, let's leave and get home a bit sooner, but we're stopped like literally halfway at a pub Sunday afternoon. We'll have like a roast dinner carvery sort of thing, which is always really nice. So it's like we just slowly plodded along and did whatever we did. But I can remember this person, like, I don't know how they got there, like how, in what state they arrived. I don't remember how they arrived. Some people literally drip in or get brought in by other members of staff who run the site. So I don't have the memory of how this person, the state in which they arrived. I don't know whether it was frantic or rushed or excited or whatever. Some people I do remember when they arrive, and it's that excitement. They feel a little bit lost, that little nervousness. But as soon as they recognize where they're at, or they, you know, they message me or ring me, and I'm like, right, I'll be down, and open the door. And then they instantly, you know, I can see their nervous system relax and reset. So I can't recall whether I saw how this person arrived, but it's literally embedded on my mind how they left. And throughout, they were really quite calm. They seemed to really enjoy the particular weekend. They, you know, were really present. But I was literally walking off the driveway, and this person was coming out of the driveway opposite. And because of where it is, it's quite rural, so it's like sandy, stone type of driveway. So it's quite easy to spin the car wheels on this driveway if you pull away too quickly. And you can really hear that as someone pulls away. And that's literally what we heard. And we looked up and was like, oh my God, it was that person. There was this real urgency, like, right, that's it, done. Tick, cross it off the list. I've done my yoga retreat. I'm all good. I've done my healthy thing. Let's go into the rest of my life. And I get there's an efficiency method, mindset to this, that it's like, right, I've done that. I've had my time, but now I need to justify that I've given away that time, whether it's an hour or like 6 hours, like a day retreat, or, a couple of days for like a weekend retreat. But I was like, that actually made me feel really sad, because I was like, what, unless there's an emergency, what reason is there to rush in and rush out again? And I really want to help people that feel like they're busy and they're like rushing and frantic and go, 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 and really take that well-being, that wellness, that relaxed pleasantness beyond the yoga mat, so they can really enjoy being relaxed, calm, pleasant, happy, joyful for themselves and the other people that are around them. And that's really where my signature coaching program has come from, because it's not a one and done thing. It's not like, oh, I did a yoga class and it wasn't for me, and I'm just manic all the time or whatever it is. And I get trying things. I'm all about trying things out, seeing what works, seeing what fits. Like I said, for me, I'm talking about this of taking that wellness beyond the yoga mat, because my journey is on the yoga mat. You might be listening to this, like I said at the beginning, maybe your practice is running, swimming, cycling, whatever it is. But how can you, think about how, whatever practice it is, think about how you feel in the moment. You're present, you're calm, your mind feels clear, you're focused, you feel like you could do anything, you feel unstoppable. And then as soon as that practice finishes, you feel like you're almost thrown back into reality. But how can you take that element with you? And like I said, there will always be an element of, life will throw something at you. Do you react or do you respond? An emergency will happen. Do you react or do you respond? Someone will ask something of you when you really don't have the time to do it. Do you react or do you respond? It's how can you be present and calm, be strong with your boundaries, stay focused, and be happy. And this always comes back to a quote, and I know I've said it to clients. I'm pretty sure I've said it on an episode on here, but if I haven't, this might be the first time. And as cheesy as this sounds, it is a quote from Sex and the City, where they're going around and asking each other if they feel happy in their marriage. And Samantha and Miranda are looking at Kerry and Charlotte, and because of what was going on with Kerry, she's like looking at Charlotte going, I'm pretty sure that question was for you. And again, yeah, I can't remember if it was marriage or relationship, because they were all in relationships. But Charlotte said every day, and they all looked like dumbfounded. And she said not all day, but every day. And I've really taken that to like, how can you feel happy in your life when, and these moments of feeling happy and feeling relaxed and feeling focused and feeling present, feeling calm, feeling on top of the world, we're all going to have these moments where we don't feel that. But are there days where you feel like that's like days on end? Like, is it ever going to end? Like I said this on the episode 2 weeks ago, meeting my mentor. It's having those people in your life where you can go, you've been through this or something similar. Is it, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? And it's knowing that there is, and it's knowing that you can have a life that you enjoy being present in every single day. And there was something another one of my mentors mentioned. I'm just going to have a look and see if I can see it in the notes, because he said something about this very, very similar. So I'm going to just have a quick look through my notes. Okay, so the notes I've made, there's actually two things I want to reference, and it's about how you feel in life and how quick does it take you to bounce back. So if you have those down moments, are they literally moments, or does it go on for days? So if you feel down, how long does it take you to get back up? How long does it take to bounce back? Can you get lifted up, picked up, bounce back faster when you have support? This is where coaching comes in, because having a coach can help you bounce back faster. Because the key thing is, and this is the second part I want to highlight, is that we're what we call immediately focused animals. Immediately focused animals. Now, I went over this. We're going back quite a few episodes, and it's why the last 72 hours matters most. So what have you done in the last 72 hours? So this was episode 22. Let me look at the date quickly. That came out on 28th of April this year, 2023. What have you done in the last 72 hours? So if you're feeling a bit down, if you're feeling a bit reactive, you're not, if you're agitated, you're moody, what have you actually done for yourself in the last 72 hours? But it's looking at it in a holistic point of view, because there are 4 key areas that we need to look at that can help you with this. And this is what we look at in the Vibrant Wellbeing method, is the taking your meds method, meditating, exercising, diet, sleep. So you might be like, well, I did my yoga class, but were you really present for it? Were you just doing it to tick it off the list? And that's something I've asked a few people about as well. Are you neglecting your well-being, your self-care, or are you doing it, but you're doing it just to tick it off the list? And that is the other key thing to look at with taking that well-being, taking your wellness beyond the yoga mat. Are you just doing it to tick it off the list? You say, well, I've done it, so I should feel good. And it takes more than that. But this is where having coaching can really help power that in you. It can empower you. It can help you to feel alive. It can help give you that support and help you to really understand what it is that you need to feel good, so you can take that well-being beyond the yoga mat, or beyond your running shoes, or beyond the sea swim, whatever it is that is your practice of choice. You can feel great daily, every day, throughout your day. So if you are interested in this, you can book a completely free discovery call. It's just a quick 15-minute chat to find out where you're at and if I'm the right person to work with you to help support you. There are a couple of offers on that I'm doing that are running until the end of September. There are additional offers if you that will be constantly running if you attend a masterclass. So it's worth looking at the ones I'll be running next week and then throughout the rest of the year, because I run these every single month. So do have a look in the links for this, like in the show notes for the links in this episode. You could have a look at my website for a little bit more details on the particular coaching program, the Vibrant Wellbeing method. You can book a discovery call directly in the show notes. You could also have a look at the information for the upcoming masterclasses, and you can even purchase the previous ones. You won't be able to get the offers, but there will be a lot. A lot of the masterclasses are based on a lot of the modules that we do in the Vibrant Wellbeing method, but they are literally just a taster of what you get in the actual signature program. So if you have more questions, please do reach out. And that is exactly what the discovery call is for. It's for you to learn more about whether it's the next step for you and whether I feel that it is the right step for you to take. I want to make sure I'm working with people who are ready to take that well-being beyond the yoga mat. So my journal prompt for you this week is, where could you slow down more? Like, notice where you're rushing in life. Are you filling up your day with far too many expectations that you just can't do them all? So you're not being present and you're not able to slow down or do the practices that help you feel good or get quality sleep. Where could you slow down more? So have a think of that. And if that's something that you feel that you would like support with, have a little look at the show notes, grab the link so you can book in a completely free discovery call. It's a chat with me on Zoom and we can go through where you're at and then if this is the next best step for you to take.